Art students, Brian Proctor, the art teacher, back again with another video. And I want to try something new today because as I was setting up to do a video, this idea came to mind. So I said, let me go ahead and do this. So this is like kind of like fresh out of my head as I go along. It's not scripted, and forgive this camera because it is zoomed in to the point where it could probably start to blur on me. If it keeps going, I'll zoom back out. But anyway, this video is called I Just Developed My Own Comic Book Character. So this is geared for people who are drawing and have their own comic book character and are basically just still trying to learn how to draw and what to do with that character. The first thing I would say to do is your character, it has to be your own. It should be original and try to keep it fresh. Now, the purpose I do these drawing videos is to get people to, number one, learn how to draw, or to keep you drawing, learn how to draw, and then to be able to take the body and not have those just sterile up and down positions that, you know, people tend to draw when they have characters. Is to be able to learn the body parts and what they look like when they're twisted and turned and viewed from different angles. And I'll get into that as I go along with more videos. And I think I need to adjust this camera. It's going to be a little further away, but at least it won't blur every 5 seconds. The purpose is to keep you from continuing to draw those same stale poses. Because I used to do the same thing when I was young. I'd always have my character just kind of like standing there, you know, with his fists down. Before I couldn't draw the fist, so I would have his hands on his hips or in his pockets because I couldn't do hands. So it was a get-over for me to just put the guy's hands in his pocket, or I'd have one hand behind him, or the cape would be covering up the arm. So something you're going to have to learn to get over with. I don't know why I keep spitting when I start drawing. Juicy mouth. You know, and then later on I'd get bold. I would learn how to draw one fist. So I would take my character and I would like maybe put one hand up with the fist and the other hand down. Once I start learning how to draw the hands, and this is just rough sketch. This is not how I was drawing my characters, you know. And then later on, I would put a gun in his hand, or turn the gun sideways because it's easier to draw a gun sideways than from a 3/4 angle or any kind of angle. And you know, it was just like littered with just stagnant, you know, positions because that's all I could draw. And then I was so focused on, oh, how can I get that muscles? I want to get him more muscular than everybody else. So I have this same position, but this time he had big muscles. He just had big muscles. And then, you know, maybe later on I maybe put a staff or something in his hand, but it was always the same position. So this is the purpose for doing the action pose positions, so that you can get away from this. I know you might want your character to look cool, you know, in that standing position, but he would look cool in a fighting position or a flying position or a running position. He would look cooler. So this is the purpose of the action pose positions. All right, so the second reason for any pose that I may draw is for you to use. If you feel it fits, it can fit your character, then draw that pose and you put your character in it. Or dress him up, slim him down, make him wider or slimmer or whatever, and then use that as your character. So this is kind of like the main reason for the book, for you guys to be able to draw this, to learn how to draw by drawing from the book, and then take that and dress your character up. Somebody asked me about like copyrights and so forth and so on, and one asked me, can I use the positions? Yeah, there's no copyright on a position, a flying position. So this is one reason why you see the same positions in a lot of comic books. One is that they make their signature move. A lot of people have their own signature move, like Wolverine with the claws. Batman does a lot of crouching on top of buildings. You know, so that's like kind of like their signature move. So you need to have the same thing for your character, a signature move. Create that. Don't have the same stagnant move or position for your character that everybody else does. if you have a character that is, a shooter, he's got like guns or something. Maybe he's a jumper and he shoots at the same time, or he flips or dives and shoots at the same time. So kind of come up with your own signature move. I don't know why I'm trying to touch up this little raggedy little position. Come up with your own signature positions for your characters. I know in the beginning we look at stuff like Captain America pose or something. Oh, that's cool, I'm gonna draw that. But start putting your own costume on that pose, and then get away from that pose and add a little bit more to it that might be more to your character's design. So, and I'm bad with just coming off poses, coming up with poses in the just off the fly, unless I see it in my head as there's a story that I have to follow, or I'm drawing something from the story. Then I can come up with a pose for it. So I'm thinking like this guy, he's upside down. This might be your character, shooting his guns, doing a flip. And the gun would be up there. So this would be more of a perspective shot, and the gun could be like right here. And this guy, something like that. So yeah, come up with, I don't know why I'm trying to draw this, come up with your own signature position. And then drawing is just, as I say, it's just taking the shapes, and I'm going to get into that too, and then just stacking the shapes on top of one another so that you will be able to put together, and I'm staggering here because I'm trying to figure this out as best I can. So you will be able to actually draw. If he's upside down, this gun would be right here. It'd be the butt of the gun. To draw something different, and that's one thing people will notice if it's a different position. They'll say, "Oh man, that's cool," because they've not seen that position ever. So it's basically just like kind of like tweaking your position. So you would be looking up. Yeah, some craziness like that. It could work in a comic book if you're jumping over, some guys. They're looking up, and this is just your rough. Weird signature drawing. So let's put his face right there. He's like, what? Who is this guy shooting everybody doing these flips? His nose is right there. So yeah, I don't want to get into this crazy messed up drawing, but figure out your signature moves for your character. You will be off to a good start in developing your character. So going back to the beginning, what I used to do when I first started. As I said, the best thing to do is once you get your position down, start moving the body parts slightly, just slightly. Maybe the guy can have two guns without changing too much. Then start to maybe bring the legs out a little bit more. So you slowly moving parts around to create different positions. Now, when doing the body, as I always say, it's like a puzzle. There are just certain, this is like 25 pieces, I think 25 or 26 pieces that you do when I show drawing the body that you have. And all that is just stacking those pieces together. It's like a snowman. You stack those pieces together, you have a snowman. So the hard part is what do they look like when you turn them around? So if you take each piece and you turn it around, let's just say this the torso, which is this, like that. Torso is basically like that, or which is your rib cage. That's all that is, your rib cage. So if you start turning that around, what you're going to see, let's just say from the side is going to be like this. How is that? Like, it's like this. It's down and up like that. You know, you have the hole for your head, and then you're going to have your arms, which are attached here. So let's just say we'll put a hole right there just because of that. Once you learn how to turn this thing upside down, right side up, then it makes it easier for you to be able to add the other pieces. So I would say take one shape at a time and then just draw that in many different positions as possible, like the square. You have that, and then you have this. You have the side of the square. Then you can show some of the top of the square. You take that and you draw that in as many positions as possible. Then you can add something else to it. So like if I do this, I say, okay, now I have this little square here, but instead of making it a big old box, I can just come down like this and come down like that. Now I have a table. Same thing. If I want to do a square, and then like that, here's the square that would be. Here's the square that would be, but yet, and then I'll take this little piece of square here, and then I put down this right there, and probably won't see that last one. And you have a chair to go with the table. So it's just shapes are everything. It's just doing these shapes, and it's the same thing with the person. Once you see what that original shape looks like, I'm trying to think of an original shape like this, which I call the upside down house, because we always, let me get another piece of paper because it's getting crazy here. That's one things we always draw as an artist when we're kids. A house. I don't waste all my paper. This paper's expensive. We always draw that house, you know. Oh, it's my home. Here's my front door. Here's my crooked window. It's my crooked window, and the fireplace is never right. And you got your dog in the front yard. It's always a stick dog, and you got the ears, and then whatever, some flowers, and some trees, and you know that's kind of like our first drawing when we start out when young. So you always know how to draw that upside down house. So you always use shapes that we are familiar with. So I'll say this is going to be the hips, the waist, the hips, and then of course your legs are connected to that. I mean, this is a very simple shape to do. You know, leave some room. Got to leave some room here. So there. So if you're kind of turning that around, basically you're doing this. You're taking the center line with this point, and you, instead of having it in the center, I don't know if you can see that. It's kind of, I don't want to darken it. Instead of having it in the center, you shift it a little bit. So that's going to be your point right there. So when you draw your legs, you can see more leg on that side than you're going to see on this side, because we got to shift that. The rest of the leg is going to be behind here. And so you just shift this point over, the center line over and over and over more. And if you're going to see it from the top, well, unless this part was invisible, you're not going to see this. But let's just say for purposes, this is not going to be flat, because you turn, your body's kind of like an oval. It'll be like this. And then you have that there, because you're seeing the inside of it. So the same thing, if you're turning it to the side a little bit more, down, and this is going to be round. And so actually, if you're looking up at it, let me do an upshot. Center line. You're gonna have these openings, but don't worry about trying to get this round. It doesn't make a difference, because your legs are gonna get stuffed in those holes anyway. So nobody's gonna be able to see that. So it's gonna look like this. You're gonna have the crotch, and there you go. Now let's just say I put a belt on it. Put a belt on them, and then give them some shorts and maybe some stripes down here, because you know it's a superhero costume. And then on top of that, which I call the tuna can, You might hear me, if you're new to the channel, you might hear me say that. And that's just this long rectangle. And from the top is just like this. So you're kind of like putting that on top of this. And depending on the angle that you see, it might be rounded. So if I put that on top of this, this is just going to be a higher circle on top of that. Is this belt. Here's the stripe that's going down, and here are the legs. Like that. So it's just stacking stuff on top of one another. And then you have the oval, which is this here. But I usually just do the whole oval first. Then I cut out that little tunnel, as I call it, because it's like a little cave tunnel. And then you can have your collarbone, your delts, and it's just you're drawing just by stacking these shapes on top of one another. And here's your chest. And I want to do a video that makes it a little easier for people who have trouble with this, the chest and the shoulders. The chest and the shoulders, I tend to like to do it just one piece, and it makes it a little easier to draw. So I'm going to use that. If I'm doing a character or body or whatever, and I'll do his chest and his shoulders, because they connect, I'll do one piece. You have your neck that comes down to this point, this little V. And at this point here, the base of that, you have your collarbone. It's going to come up, and it's going to go right into that delt. The delt is going to come like right down into that chest. Same thing for this side. So I like to keep that just one piece, because as I say, it makes it easier. So even when you raise your hands, the character might raise his hands. It's still that one piece. And I'll put this hand down. It's just going to go like that. And it's just easier to do on that thing, and your arm comes out here, and the other arm's going to come out here. And of course, you're going to have your shoulders, and this is that little V, that little point, that's going to be where your neck is. And then what's left over are your shoulders. So I like to look at that as one piece. All right, let me give you a for instance, because I don't want this video to be too long, because I don't think there's going to be any fancy drawing or anything. So I get in my mind the position I want. Let's just say I want to have this guy running. So he's going to be running. My camera angle, am I going to be right there? Camera's going to be right here in his face. Is it going to be above him? It's going to be below him. But I'm going to put it right there, in kind of like in front of his face. So I want to do torso. The torso is circle. Then I'm going to do the tuna can, which is just that little piece here. And then I want to do the upside down house. Let me darken this. It's going to kind of get crazy. No, well, let's just darken it with a pencil. So I'll stack these three shapes. Now you have to be wary of not to make it too long or too short. A lot of it too long or too short. But this, once you get the torso, once you get this body part together, that's the hard part. That's the easy part. The hard part is, I'll take it as you want it. To me, the hard part is how I'm going to put the arms and legs to make this more dynamic. The hard part for this would be, how am I going to tilt this or twist this? So if he's running, it's going to put my center line here. I am going to lean him over a little bit, which means if you lean over, this is going to turn into a V. This is not going to be kind of straight across. I'm going to lean it like this. I'm going to say this is one piece. This is this, and the chest. But if he is running, and that's the thing that got me. If he's running, you're going to turn, you're going to twist. And that's what I had a lot, when I was young. A lot of, I would never twist my characters enough. And that's what really kind of got me today. And it's kind of like a habit, just like right now. And if you're running, you're not twisting too much though. You're not really twisting too much. So I'm going to put the head down. This is going to go back. This is going to come around to the front, this delt. And we have your tunnel right here. You're going to have this arm here, which is going to be more of in perspective. So that's another thing I say. The arms and legs are just cylinders. That's all. It's just cylinders. So what does it look like? A cylinder looks like when it comes in, when it's pointing at you. It looks like that. Straight at you. It looks like that. You see right down the hole. If you tilted it up just a little bit, it'll look like this. And you'll see some of the top or some of the bottom, whichever you decide. If you turn it to the side, it will look like that. So that's the easy part. As I say, the hard part is just figuring out how you want to put the arms and the legs to make it look more dynamic. So I'm going to do cylinder back here, cylinder back here. This elbow is going to be back behind here, so you really won't see it. You may see a little bit of it, but nope. And then you have this arm swinging down here, then which is the opposite leg. So this leg is going to come up. This leg is going to go back. The cylinder is going to go back and then back. And it's going to kind of curve in. You're not going to go straight down. The faster you run, the further your legs will be apart from one another. I did a video on walking and I explain it more on that. My brain is like 5 sentences ahead right now, so it's kind of hard for me to go back. So, but that leg is going to come in. It's not going to go straight down. It's definitely not going to go out. It's going to go in. This one is going to come up. Same thing with here. If I'm drawing my cylinder, and this is going to be a leg, and I just want to see some of the top of that thigh, I'm going to show you by doing this. So if I need to bend this leg, I'm going to put another cylinder down here like that. Seeing through there, and then if I'm going to do a foot is going to be a triangle. So this one is going to be kind of cylinder, so the knee is going to be right here. You're going to have the other part of that leg, your shin, just right here, kind of going behind that, and then your foot is going to be there. So that's how I look at positions. Whenever I do positions, I'm just stacking my shapes on top of one another. So this hand. And once you get that, then you kind of learn how to do your shapes of stuff, how things are shaped. And that is another purpose of the whole action pose position. So, and that's why I try to draw all the muscles in there, not to make it more muscular, but so that you see when you twist and turn which way or directions the muscles actually go. So there you would have a kind of a quick running position just by stacking your shapes. But first you have to understand what are your shapes that you are working with. And, you know, let me get my book. I hate to keep showing the book. You know, I did the book for that purpose, so I should not hate to show it. Let me get it real quick. To learn, but I don't know, for some reason I'm like, show you my book again, show you my book again. These are the shapes that you are actually using. This, I think, is your head. That's your neck, your torso, the tuna can, the upside down house. These are just the circles that, and for your joints. You don't really have to have that. I think these are the arms, the legs, the feet. What is the squares? What were the squares for? Squares are for something. It's been a minute since I published this book and I did the squares. I'll figure it out in a second. So anyway, this is the book. That's the book. If you're new to the channel, that's the book. It's on Amazon. It's on Amazon. Yeah, it's on Amazon. So I've got a lot of different positions, 360 positions, just basically the same position in different, which is kind of what I'm trying to show you now, how to do the same position in different angles. Like you may need this flying position here, but you want the guy chasing somebody, or he's high above, so it'll look like this from different positions. And it's all by learning each shape one at a time, twisting it, turning it, so that you will know what it looks like when you twist it and turn it. Or when you want to draw your position, whatever that position may be, you will know what it looks like. You know, the hardest part for me doing a video is the thumbnail. That's the hardest part. What kind of thumbnail would I make out of all of this mess? So let me pause this and then see where my thoughts are going, and then continue. All right, just the squares represented the hands. You know, it's been a minute since I actually looked in the book, because this is on the next page. This is what you have when you put them all together. And as I say, you just have to learn how to turn and twist them to make, you know, action positions. You know, what does it look like when it's twisted? And as I say, I always add the muscles to show you what it looks like when you actually turn your body. Not that you have to put every muscle in there, but it's good to know in the beginning. All right, let us take an easy route for those who cannot draw. I never said that you were a perfect drawer. I said you developed your own character, your own comic book character. Now what am I going to do with them? So just like I did here in the beginning when I drew the square, this is an easy way to draw the body. Just that. And I call that the clothespin method, like that. That's an easy way to draw the body by doing square. But you don't want to get caught up in doing a lot of squares, because there are some drawing books that have you drawing squares. It's easy, but after a while you kind of get to the point where, oh, I have to draw a square, and you don't have to, but it is easy in a way, but you're still going to have to go with the roundness eventually. So I'm trying to think of some other kind of, that's going to go off the page, but that's okay. We'll work with it. So if I'm drawing a comic book panel, say this is my panel, and I have a lot of people. So I got the one guy right here, and he's talking to people in the background. I would do that. I will definitely do this for my people, because it helps. It's easy, and you kind of got your perspective going to a degree. It's just easy, and get that twist to it. You don't want everything straight up and down. And then I put my head there to see the size of the body. Is it all right? You know, or I put the head there to measure the size of the shoulders. And then I'll put my arms however I'm going to put my arms. I was that this guy's like saying, whoa, 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 stop the arguing. You know, he's blaming and he's pointing his finger. So then I will go and I'll round it off, which I'll show you in here. Then I'll get my roundness on here, my tuna can, my upside down house. And then how did I have this other guy's arm? I don't know. I think it was something, whatever. But once I get my squares, then I'll do that. And it depends on the size of the character, how much detail you will or you will not put into it. But if I'm putting a lot of people, like I say, on the page, I'll go back to that. And then I don't put muscles in, because number one, it's too small to put muscles in. I will just kind of like define the shape. But if they're wearing clothes, even less work for me. And this is just kind of like screwed up. So anyway, as I say, if they're wearing clothes, then that's less work for me to have to do, because I'm not going to have to do muscles. And this guy he is talking. Yeah, so with this, as I say, I'll do that. It's a good way to start. Put your head, and I always put the head last if I'm drawing a final, or if I'm drawing a detailed picture. But for this, something like this, you put the head on. That way you'll know if the shoulders are right for the size of the head. Like if I put a head on like this, then I instantly have a little boy. The older you get, the smaller your head is going to be. Not necessarily, but you're not going to have big broad shoulders at 10. So that's why you put your head there, to see just how muscular I want the body. If it's an average guy, give him an average head. If it's a kid, give it a bigger head. If it's a female, I will point the chin. If it's a female, I don't want to put a female on a body. Let's just do it this way. If it's a female, I'll take the head and I'll give it more of a pointier chin, and then continue the same way with the rest of the head. Just give her like more of a pointier eyes. And if you need be, you need to give her eyelashes or whatever. And then you give the female mouth. Female. Male, I just square the chin out. So I'm saying like this. So then after that, I will go ahead and put my oval. And this is it's not going to be this wide, but this is going to be like the size, overall size. And I'll put the tuna can or the waist. Then I will put the hips. Then I'll put the legs. Of course, the legs are going to be a little longer, but it gives you a basis to where you can start. What's wrong with you, brother? And then your arms or your shoulders, your delts, and your arms, and of course you can't draw the hands. So I'll put it back in his pocket. His pocket's way over here, Brian. Don't forget. And yeah, just kind of like get rid of these lines once you got your shape of your body. Same thing with this. Put my head. So I'll do this center line. It's a good thing to do center line. That way I'll know where my neck goes. So then I'll put my head. I will do this oval. Center line. I'll do some of my tuna can. Remember, you're looking down, so you're not going to see a lot of that. And then you have this center line, your crotch, it comes over. And remember what I said on the other one, if you do your crotch like this or your hips like this, and you want to turn it over a little bit, here's your center line, and just moves it over a little bit over there. So same thing with this. This is going to be there, so the center line is going to be here. You're going to see more leg here than you will see there. Then you have your collarbone, your arms, which are just cylinders, round, and then the other one round there. I mean, you can put the circle here if you need be, and then the other cylinder there, and his hand is in his pocket. So again, that cylinder, you put the other cylinder there, like that. And just by using that square, you kind of, it's a good guideline. As I said, these are flat, but don't worry, because your legs are going to be round, and yeah, your legs are going to be round, your knees here. Remember, you're going on perspective. Knee there, and you can bring the foot down however you want to bring the foot. It can be in the front, or it could be turned tilt to the side a little bit. So wherever that foot is, this other foot is going to go as well. The heel and the foot, like that. Same thing with the top. If I'm doing the top, get my head right. Get my oval. My neck. Where that point of that neck is, goes that collarbone. If you're looking down, if this person, where is it at? What I was saying, if you're looking down at a character, you're gonna have this like triangle here for your shoulders. Where's the one I drew? I don't know. Maybe it's on the back of that. So anyway, you're looking down at this one, and as I said, I'm gonna do a more of a shoulder, chest, delt kind of thing. So again, you're gonna see even less of this. Let me do this. And then it's good to just cut it off sometimes. Cut that wrist off. That way you know it's round. And then that chest is going to come around. This. That crotch, leave that space. This one leg. It's going to do this first leg here. My knee. And then I just put the foot out this way. Same thing. You draw that line. Keep the perspective. So that knee is going to be here. That foot is going to be there. And then you can do the rest, as you see fit. Collarbone, delt, chest, this here, and this is going to come in front of that wrist, and then that hand. So as I was saying, I surely forgot what I was saying on that one. Oh, you won't see this. You won't see as much as this as you do here. This little, your hips, waist, because you're looking down on it. So you see this, you see a little bit of the waist, a little bit of the crotch or the upside down house, and then your legs are going to be shorter as well because you're looking down on the legs. And I'm not going to go because I ran out of space. Same thing, cylinder looking down. Let's put it on this, put it out. Cylinder here. Again, cylinder going out. If you need to show the opening, show the opening. Here's the opening, and then this right here, and then this the hand. So once you learn the pieces of the puzzle, and as I say, I usually treat this as one piece. It's just easier to do it as one piece. Once you learn the shapes that you're working with, and you can turn them upside down and right side up, it becomes very, very simple to draw. And then the legs. And anytime you angle something, you want to keep that, it's going to be that perspective. So the knees are going to hit that same line, the elbows should hit that same line, the waist should be going this way, that belt should be going that way. You know, everything should be going in that, and I'll probably get into more of that perspective thing later. And same thing with this. Chest, collarbone, shoulders, it's all going to that same vanishing point, wherever that vanishing point happens to be. But if you take the shapes, as I said again and again, take the shapes, learn how to turn them left, right, upside down, this way and that way, and then you will be able to draw anything just like the action pose positions. It's just, I'm taking this shape and I'm figuring out what it looks like from the side. I'm figuring out what it looks like from the back, from the other side, from the going down. So it's just, it takes time, it takes practice, and that's the purpose for the videos, so that you can follow along with me when I do the drawings, and then you get used to where the muscles go and how they look when they turn. And then two things, you can use that same position. If you draw it, you can use that same position and dress it as your character, and you learn how to draw. All right, so closing out, you developed your character. I don't know how to do, because a lot of people write and ask me about how would I do my character? How did I do that? I don't know. It's your character. How would you do my samurai clown? How would you make him look whatever? And you're like, what's a samurai clown? So I don't know your character. You don't know mine. I cannot give you advice to what to do with your character. I can say what I would do with your character, but my character is not your character, or the way I think is not your character. So you have a character. You're drawing. You need to have his own kind of signature move, signature stance. And my brain is trying to figure out what type of character, person, character, whatever I want to just throw real quick. All right, once again, you have your character. You want to draw your character. You should be drawing your character every day. That in case you ever get to, you go to a convention, or you drawing with your friends and they're like, oh, what does your character look like? If you don't have it, you can draw your character real quick. So you want your character to look cool. How do you make your character look cool? And that is in some type of action pose. Just standing up and down is okay for when you are designing the character, but when you want to put, when you want people to see it like, wow, and and remember it, then you have to do that an action pose, or give it more action, give it more motion, should I say. So let me just try to something real quick, and then you can see the process that I do. Start out with that. I'll go back with this. I'm going to put my tuna can here, and then my upside down house right there. Of course, I got this curve. I'm losing my curve just a little bit. I can always do it again. So I've got my three pieces. This part, which is the oval, which is the torso. This part, which is the waist, which is just this here. This little tuna can, hockey puck looking thing. And then my upside down house, which is crooked. So let's just say I want to put this one leg out here. And I'm going to put another leg back, or maybe more back. What someone said, the further that you can extend your arms and legs, the better, the cooler the pose could be, you know, and to a degree, yeah, but you don't want to go too far. But that's a lot of anime, they do that. You'll notice that when they stand or whatever, the legs are always like really split far apart. You know, the hands are as far apart as you can get them for a particular stand. So we have this oval for this. We have this a circle. This is the calf. This is just a calf, and then I'll put like a little pipe right there, depending on the angle that I've turned for the shin, and then my foot. However I want to put the foot. So this one, because the person's actually stretching. He's like kind of like taking a step. And then I'm going to put this down, and this is just another oval, if you can see, but with more of a point. It's like a triangle, because I show people when I do arms. Perfect. Arm is, here's your torso, here's your center line, here's your little cave, here's your chest, comes up to your delt, right? The arm is just, this delt is, I call it, it's just a circle. I use it as in the beginning, this little circle. Then I'll have an oval. Then I'll have a triangle like that. And then just chop the point off, and there's your arm. I mean, you've got the shapes already. You've got this here, and then you got your bicep. Depends on if you're going to see some tricep, and your delt is just a half an oval anyway, which just comes to the chest. So we have this, this. My bicep comes into that like this, and then it goes down into the chest like that. And if you see some tricep, or actually tricep was heavier, so it's going to be below. It's going to drop down. So with those three shapes, you have an arm. And it's the same thing with the leg, except the legs are a little thicker. A little thicker. So, you know, if you got a big calf, draw a circle. That, and then the foot. So with this, I'm going to turn this, and his head is going to be here. And as I said, I usually draw the head last, but I want to draw this to get this twist right. There, and then of course you have at the base of your neck, again, you have your collarbone, your delt, which is that circle, the other delt, which is going to be going way back. So, and then I think I will put this oval here. This is why I don't like drawing on my paper, my, what do you call that? My final drawing paper. So, and I can have it reaching up, or I could have this person pointing directly at me. That depends on how much of this you see. I'll usually draw it, and then I'll determine, okay, well, that's too much. So then I'll put the other circle right about here, because it's going to be in front of it anyway, and I really don't have a example to show you guys. And the same thing here. How high do I want to put this hand? How much of this is not pointing at me? I'm losing it. Same thing. I'll do this here, and then I'll say, okay, I want this to be pointing at me more, so I can either put the hand right here, or I can put the hand down here. And then that determines how high this is extended. I haven't figured that out yet. I'll play with it. So from this, since I put this arm back, oval, and then the other oval. Well, this is more of a triangle. Triangle? Cone with a point. So, and what's left is your shoulder. So I can move this out a little bit more. I can have it closer, depending on how high this arm is up. This arm is up. I don't know why I'm putting my arm up, like you can see me. It determines how far this arm is going to be close to the face. So let's see what I can do with this. Let's see what I can do with this. You're gonna have this come around, and this is gonna come around to the chest. Do my oval. And as I said, that the hard part is figuring out what I want to do with the arms and the legs. I don't want them like reaching for the sky. I kind of, I don't know. I'll figure that out. It's just that one that's going to get me. So until I figure that out, let me do the rest of this. So this is good. So here's my cave, my tunnel. It's my abs that go in. I like to bring my abs in. You're gonna have some love handle right here. So at this point, you're gonna have your obliques, which are your love handles, which is going to form this right here. Your whole ab section. You don't want this tuna can to be too far out. You don't want to get them to make them fat. And then there's the side of the buttocks right there. The crotch is going to come up, and then that part there. Depending on the leg, you're going to have this come out, and then this down. And you get your shapes. It takes a minute to get your shapes right. It's just more practice, more practice. I'm looking at this. Do I want to bring it back more? As I say, the hardest part for me is arms and legs. How do I want to do the arms and legs? So this is going to be here. It's going to be up and that. This head is too high up. That could be one reason why I was looking kind of crazy. Or too much neck. And then we go again. Less that time. And then I'm going to bring this more out. And so, I don't know. I'll try it out at an angle. I'm not going to give up on it yet. That's more of a stop. Or it could be shooting a blast, whichever. Emergency blast. It just slid into home plate because his girl was like laying down here unconscious. And he's like, oh no, I gotta stop. I gotta shoot my blast at him. Or I could have it out here. But at this point, I want to fast forward this because I know this is a long video and I'm not really sure what I want to do with this hand or this arm. So we're going on the fast motion. Wait, before I go, this is why I use two pencils. People used to ask me, why do you use two pencils? Because when I have too much blue and I want to add something, or if I add clothes, if I'm going to add a necktie to this person, I use my second color. And then I'll know when I come back, time to come back to ink, that, oh, these are the clothes in red. Or if I have too much blue and I say, I like this, but I'm not sure, so I want to try again. So then I will do the second arm in red. And that's a way where you can do, multiple positions by just adjusting the arms and legs and keep the torso. I did a video on that. Go back on my channel, main channel. Nobody ever goes to the main channel. They see the video and they like it, but then they ask me, can you draw feet? As I go to the main channel, and I've got videos on feet and hands and eyes, and I've been doing this for like 3 years. So I think it's over 300 videos that are on the main channel. Go click the icon that goes to the main channel, and then you'll see kind of like that one, maybe. Or you could have 3 arms. So anyway, here comes the fast motion. All right, so here we go with a quick, I developed my new character kind of pose, and I will add some line weight to it, and you'll see this. This will be my get over thumbnail. That's a little long. Always stop, especially before you ink. Always stop and then walk away from your picture. I always say that. I do, but sometimes if I'm in a rush, I don't do, because this was not really supposed to be a finished version picture, as in I'm going to put it in my next 360 book. But anyway, it might be there. That's it. And you saw how I did it using the same shapes, and you just, as I say, you know how to twist your shapes and so forth, and start doing more positions and adding your character's clothes to it. And you know, if you know your character, so you know if you got an angry character, a happy character, a character likes to pose, a character likes to hide in the dark. So each motion has a different stance or position to it, or each what's the word? It might flash down across here. Has a different position or stance to it. So as I say, only you know, and then you have to do. So this is a long video. I guess this is more of a video lesson. So I don't know if I left anything else out. As I said, this was coming right off the cuff. You know, just throwing it out there because it hit me at that point to do a video like that. Somebody needed it. Somebody was calling out to me in spirit saying, hey, Brian, help me with this video. So just remember the things I showed you. And then hopefully that helped. If you liked it, leave a thumbs up, and I will do more teaching videos, a combination of teaching videos, action pose position videos, and then, as I said in another video, get more into doing comics, actual comic stuff by actually drawing some comics. So that's going to be it for this video. Hope you enjoyed it. Hope you liked it. Give me a thumbs up if you did. And if you know anybody who's into art or drawing or comic books, let them know. And then go to the main channel. Go to the main channel and see all the stuff I have on there. All right. See you guys in the next video as soon as I give a little indentation right there. That's it. Later.